Do a how-to training video on changing the oil in a push mower. Now this has a nice Honda engine, great engine. This is actually called a Husky push mower. I really like this mower. It's not self-propelled, but it's got the big wheels on the back, which actually makes it very, very easy to push. I actually like this better than even a self-propelled. You can push it forward, backwards, get around very quickly. So these high wheel rear wheels really make a difference in the ease of the push. So on this one, we're actually going to do the same thing as you would do on any other mower that I've shown on any other video. The first step in changing the oil is to start this engine and heat this oil up so that it will drain. So that's what we're going to do right now. Okay, now that we have heated the oil up to make sure that it drains very quickly, even though it doesn't have to drain very far, it helps it so much better to drain out, so that's why we want to do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to wipe this little guy down, the oil plug, and we are going to, with the push mowers, some of them have drains kind of like on the zero turn where you can literally just pull the plug out and it'll drip out, but this one, it's got one where you actually have to tip the mower over. You want to make sure you completely are very careful in tipping this. This side, don't try to roll it all the way over upside down. It's very bad to get your oil and gas mixed up. In fact, you can ruin your engine doing that. So we're going to clean that up. Then we are going to remove this, and when you remove it, you want to make sure that this piece stays very, very clean of dirt. So when you set it down, you want to set it down somewhere where you know it's not going to get filthy. Okay, I'm actually going to get another paper towel to wrap it in. Okay, we're gonna put that paper towel there. This is a clean paper towel. I'm gonna wrap that up. Don't want any dirt to get on that dipstick. And I'm gonna put it right there. Actually, I'm not, because I gotta tip it over. Okay, the next step in this process is to drain the oil out. I'm going to actually add this little funnel. Actually, it's not quite the right size, so I am going to remove this outer piece. Whoops, almost dropped it in there, and make it where it can fit on that plug. Almost there. Not want to grab on. Well, that's okay. We're going to let it just get to the point where we can tip it over and drain that oil out. This one is going to be, well, it is not wanting to drain. So, well, okay. I'm getting a little oil on the ground. That's okay. It's not going to hurt anybody. Is it? Okay. Now, eventually, we're going to let this tip all the way. And we're going to let it drain. And it is much smaller than our large engines. It's not going to take very long at all. And it is almost done. Okay. I'm going to let it drip out for a few minutes. Now what we're going to do is we are going to let this drip out for just a few minutes. It's probably going to take about 2-3 minutes. That's all it should take. Again, if you heated that oil up, all that thickness in there, especially if you haven't changed the oil in a while, it's going to be harder to get that to drain out. But you heat it up in there, get it all loose. It's kind of like grease, you know, in a cooking grease or something. If you let it sit for a while, it kind of claws up a little bit. You heat it up, gets a little soupy, moves around. That's what you want to do with this. Okay, now that it's done draining, we are going to tip this sucker back up. Oh, a few more drops it looks like. All right. Okay, this is the last step in the process. We are going to add 10W30 motor oil to this small engine here. Most of them, you know, you can buy them pre-measured here. This is right at 20 ounces or 0.59 liters. We're going to go ahead and we're going to pour about 3/4 of this in there. And again, go by your owner's manual on exactly the amount, because you don't want to put too much and then have to drain it out and waste that. I guess you could use it again, but so I'm just going to pour this right in. I don't even really need a funnel. And then we're going to put the dipstick in there after a certain point. Okay, of course I want to let it drain down in there, because you got it on the end here. You got to kind of let it move around. And we are going to test it again. See how it does. Try to hold the dipstick to the top side when you push it down, because sometimes the oil, that just gives me a test amount. Okay, well, what we're going to do is I'm going to put this down in here. Look at it again. I'll put it down in here, screw it down. See how it measures. Now we are on a slight slant, so you do have to keep that in mind when testing. So if there's a slight slant, it should come slightly above the mark, and it does. So then what I want to do is I want to put it in here, start the engine for a few minutes, let it get mixed all around, let it settle down, then we'll test it again, and because we want to make sure we have the right amount. Okay, so we're going to get this. Let me put this choke on here.